Hello everyone, good afternoon all of you, and let's start today. Okay, fine, let's start. So I can see here very few students are right now connected. So any reason? Because only 35 students are there out of, let's say, 68 is the strength. Total students are 68. Out of that, only the 35 students, 36 students are there. So that's be alert that your attendance is going to decide. Maybe your term work marks will be based on this. If you're going to stay away or if you're absent, then your term work marks are going to come down. Anyway, let's continue. That we people are just talking about interview techniques or tips that you people have to follow. So whatever we people have done about that, what you should do, that we have discussed about what preparation you are expected to do. So you have to work on your resume, as well as you people have to think of your, let's say, job application later. Apart from that, people have to know the company from different sources or from website, and you people have to find out more information about the company so that the any question is going to be there. It will help you, or you will have better insight that how you can just deal with the questions which are asked you in this interview. So with this, now we are here and we are going to continue with this non-verbal or body language. So let's try to just understand what is non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication is nothing but the communication which we people do with the help of our, let's say, all body parts, or let's say with our face, eyes, tone of voice, or here comes appearance as well. Your body language and appearance, your non-verbal communication, those things are going to matter here. So let's try to understand what you people have to follow as far as non-verbal communication is concerned in the interview. Important is what we are talking from the point of interview, because let's say after 3 years, you people will be just working with some of the companies, some of the organizations, and so therefore you should know that what you have to follow, what you shouldn't do during such interviews. So let me know somebody you reply. Is it audible and visible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So first of all, we'll talk about posture. So what is the posture? So posture is nothing but it is in fact your let's say position. So the way you, let's say, stand, or the way you sit, or the way you walk. So this is called posture, and these bases or these things are important. As you people are going to appear for interview, you're going to stand in front of interviewers, you're going to sit in front of them, you're going to walk in front of them. So let's imagine a a room where you are waiting outside the interview room, and when you're just going to knock the door, so after knocking, they'll say, or you're going to ask, may I come in, sir, or ma'am, something, whatever it may be. And then they're going to say, yes, come in, please. And then you're going to walk in front of them. So how you're walking, while walking, whether you're dragging feet with the surface, or how you're walking, and while walking your shoulders, whether they are just bending down. Then again, when you stand in front of them, how you're standing, then if they ask you to sit down, how you're sitting in the chair. So those things will come here in posture. So as far as your posture is concerned, you people have to take care that sit erect without leaning the desk or slouching in the chair. So important is that you have to sit erect. Sit erect means sit straight without bending yourself. The spine should not be bent. So that you people will just take care that you are sitting erect, you are sitting straight. Then when you're sitting, usually there is a table in front of you. Okay, so we have habit when we sit, we what we do, we use our just knees of hands to just sit like this. We take support of just table and we lean forward. So you shouldn't do, you have to sit straight in the chair, and you people can keep your hands on your let's say thighs. That will be better instead of just keeping them on the table. So you shouldn't keep your hands on table. And I think that I have told you that what is slouching. Slouching is just you are just bending down in chair. You are just looking, sitting casually and in a relaxing way that you shouldn't do. But don't be stiff and tense. So don't be stiff and tense means that for the sake of showing that you are attentive, you are sitting straight. It should not be too much, or I'll say it should not be overreacted. So if I have told you to sit erect, it should not be you're sitting too erect or too stiff that it seems odd. It seems unnatural. So it should not be. And again, because of this, you are in, let's say, worry or you are in tension. So that should not happen. You have to sit straight. You have to sit erect, but don't slouch, don't be stiff, and don't be tense. The next point you people have to think about, this is of your body language. Again, body language. Always make an eye contact when you speak, but avoid continuous staring. So as your conversation is going to start, so your interview usually begin like this, that they will call you in, then you'll wait for their permission to sit. They'll say you can take your seat, and then you're sitting and you say thank you. And then they're going to ask you some questions. Let's say first question, they're going to ask you, introduce yourself, and then you're going to start to speak. So when you're going to start speaking or you're speaking, that time you have to maintain eye contact. So with whom you are going to maintain contact? You are going to maintain eye contact with your interviewer. So the person who is in front of you, with him, you are going to maintain eye contact. If he is a single person, it's okay that you have to look at him. Okay, but if there are, let's say, two or three members, if it is panel, in that case, you have to maintain eye contact with each one. That should not be just only you're looking at only one person and you're just neglecting, or you're not looking at other people. That should not happen. You have to look at each one while answering, and the person who is speaking, that time you can maintain eye contact with that person, but while answering you have to maintain eye contact with each one. If it is only one person, in that case you are going to maintain eye contact with that one person, but it says that avoid continuous staring. Okay, so if you're staring at something or someone continuously, it shows that you're looking in anger. So if you're looking at a person continuously, you're not just keeping your eyelids also, or you're just continuously looking at that person. Again, this is odd. So you have to avoid looking continuously. So sometimes you can look down, sometimes you can look here or there, or sometimes you can look at your file, papers, documents, etc. But maximum time you have to maintain eye contact, because if you're not maintaining eye contact, this is a sign of a body language that indicates that you are nervous, you're shy, and you don't know answer, you're lying, and you're not confident. So these are the some of the signals which these interviewers they get if you're not maintaining eye contact. So maintain eye contact when you're speaking. You have to maintain eye contact with your listeners. When you're listening, you have to maintain eye contact with your speakers. So that you just try to take care. Then next we people will try to see what we people have to take care about our body language. Don't use too many hand movements and frequent change of facial expressions, not in relation to words you have expressed. So some people have habit. They use frequently hand movements. So let's say that sometimes they say like this and then like that and then like this, and continuously their hands are in motion. They are just up and down. They are from this side and that side, and they're just trying to show every time with the help of their hands. So what will happen if you're doing too many gestures? If you're using too many hand movements, that will be irrelevant there, and it seems odd. It will not be okay, and they will think that you people or you don't have manners and etiquettes of using body language. So it should not be too many movements of your hands, but wherever it is necessary, you can use it. Apart from that, it says about your facial expressions. So facial expressions, usually you should have to carry a bright and wide smile on your face. Okay, so that is the sign of that. It shows that you are enthusiastic, you are eager, you are happy, and you are just curious to get connected with that person. Okay, so you have to wear a wide smile on your face, and apart from that, the facial expressions, let's say sometimes there may be any kind of moment where you are expected to just wear a smile or expression of smile that you people need to give, but joy, happiness, some feelings that you people can show with the help of your face, that it should be cheerful. In fact, it should not be sad, worried, a lot of tension on your face. If it is seen, then they will understand that you're not the enthusiastic guy, or you're not appropriate fit for the post. So therefore, you just see that on your face, you're not showing any kind of tense emotions or negative emotions. Rather than a smile and happiness and cheerfulness will be there on your face. So that indicates that you are very cheerful and happy person. So that you try to take care. Apart from that, the vocabulary or words that you are using and your facial expression. So there should not be a difference that you are saying. In words, you are saying different, and your face is saying different. So that will show contradiction, that there is no correlation between your facial expressions and words that you are expressing. So you people have to use words as per your what the emotions or feelings that if you're expressing. Related to that, there should be facial expressions on your face. Suppose that if it is happy moment, there should be happiness on your face. If you're just any sad incident, not necessarily you have to express it, but if you're describing, there should be a serious tone of voice. Then face should have changed feelings and emotions. That things you people have to take care. Another part of body language is tone of your voice. So this tone of voice you people have to change as per the question, answer, or the situation. Okay, so here if you're happy, that should sound from your tone of voice. If you are just let's say serious, that should be sound from your tone of voice. And let's say if you are enjoying, that should be felt from the tone of voice. That you people have to take care in case of your body language. So I hope that you people will take care about all those things. First of all, your posture, the way you're sitting, standing, or walking, then maintaining eye contact, and your facial expressions, and tone of voice also. These some points you people have to take care about your non-verbal communication or body language. So with this, we people will go to the next slide. So before going, let me know, reply somebody. Is it okay? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, all right. So then on next slide, we people will talk about dress outlook, or in short, we'll talk about appearance. So how should you look? In fact, for looking, we cannot change our face. So whatever face you have, nobody can change it. Or whatever the, let's say the height and color and whatever things that are naturally, we cannot change them. Okay. So what we can just think of, let's say try to understand, first of all, you have to think about the dress or the outfit or the attire or the, let's say, the clothes that you are going to choose. So what kind of dress you are going to choose? It should be formal dress. So formal dress, you shouldn't choose t-shirts, jeans, any casual wears, party wears, or something like this. So, but it should be a formal dress for both male and female candidates. Both of you have to choose formal dress and well groomed. So well groomed means that everything should be clear, that your, let's say, hairstyle. If in case of male candidates, you should have a fresh haircut, and in case of beard, you have to uh, a clean shave, or if you're keeping beard, then it should be trimmed well. Uh, then nails should be cut properly. Then let's take care that clothes should be properly clean and pressed or ironed. So that care you people have to take care. In case of female also, you people have to take care about your hairstyle. Then uh, again, the different things like makeup, jewelry, accessories that you're going to choose, nail paint and perfumes and scents that you people are going to choose, that you people have to think. In fact, I will suggest don't use any perfume or scents that for the purpose of interview, because see, the tests or likes of you people may not be similar with the interviewers, and at some point if they feel that there is a strong smell, or it can be irritating or unbearable smell of your perfume which you likes but the next person dislikes, then in that case it is going to create a negative impression. So you have to avoid scents and perfumes uh, as far as your interview is concerned. So you just think of your dress. That dress has to be well chosen earlier, and it has to be very comfortable for you, because sometimes what students do, they try to wear something new. Probably they buy new dress, and that new dress don't fit them properly, and in that dress they don't feel comfortable. So you have to choose such a dress in which you feel comfortable and there is no any problem with that. So such things, clothes that you people have to choose. Then already I told you about your grooming. Grooming means something that what you can do for your looking, all things apart from your face, hairstyle, then let's say accessories like belt, shoes, purse, and everything, jewelry, etc. So you people have to choose everything for formal appearance only. Why these things? So it says you will never get a second chance to make a good impression. Okay, so why it is so? Because your first impression is the last impression. Okay, so this is an opportunity for you this is an opportunity for you people to create a positive impression, so that your entire interview or whatever event is there, it is going to have or it is going to last positive impression. So therefore your appearance will create your first impression, and you get an opportunity to create such impression. So you people have to be formal and be uh, up to the, let's say, event and to the point. Accordingly people choose everything: clothes, jewelry, and accessories. Then it says wear something that make you feel comfortable. I already told about it. Is my voice okay? Is it getting it clear, or outside noise you're getting?
Outside not is
Yes, sir, outside.
Uh, just wait.
sir outside नाही येते.
Yes, just wait for 1 minute. Vanwas sir, आवाज फार येतो. Okay, now there will be no ones. So wear something that make you feel comfortable. So you people just let me know if you're getting outside noise. No? That time you just immediately tell me. So dress, in case of dress, I already told you that you don't try something new, but already you should choose such a dress which is formal and you are comfortable with that dress. Such a dress you should choose. Use simple accessories like simple jewelry, watches, ties, bells, shoes, etc. Then scents, perfumes, and after shaves lotion should be avoided. That is also I have told you people. So this is part of, though they are small things, but they are going to create a big difference in your appearance. So therefore, choose everything formal and wisely, and nothing is going to create any kind of negative impression. So there, yes, Shubham. Okay, all right. I expect that there is no external noise that you are getting. Bharatha, was it okay?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. So you be very careful about choosing dress, accessories, and everything. Then we will go to the next slide. And next slide says expected qualities of the candidate that the interviewers are looking for. Okay. So let's try to understand. First of all, it says effective verbal communication. So what is verbal communication? Tell me. I have explained to you what is verbal communication. What is verbal communication? I think that I have told you communication, then communication can be verbal communication, can be non-verbal communication. If it is verbal, then again, how it is divided. If it is non-verbal, then how it is. I don't know verbal communication.
Communication with words.
Yes, you're right. So let's try to understand that in interview, we people are going to communicate with the help of words. And with the help of words, again, this is oral and written. So forget about written communication. You're not going to write much. They may ask you to write something, sometimes essay, not at the time of interview, but earlier in aptitude test, there is last question. They may ask you to write one essay, or sometimes they ask you something that you have to write or draw. They may ask you something like this, but maximum communication is with oral. Okay, that you people have to understand. So it should be effective communication. Okay, effective means that at least you should be in position to understand what they are saying, and you should be in position to make them understand what you are telling. If that is happen, that will be okay. And here I will say that minor mistakes of grammar or tense or something like this, some here and there will be okay. I say minor mistakes. So if you are not perfect that much, it's okay initially. Okay, but you try to be perfect, you try to bring accuracy, you try to be fluent, but if it happens, that is okay, but you have to practice it. Because if you're only thinking up that I may make mistakes of grammar or my grammar is not good, something like this, if you're already thinking, in that case you may not be able to perform well. Okay, so you just try to work on these things, that your communication should be effective. And what I mean by effective communication, already I told you that if something I have to say, and what I have to say is received to that person and he or she understands it, that's okay. That is effective communication. And in return, that person, if he or she is asking you something and you understood it, that's okay. So that is effective communication. Okay. So you have to work on making your communication effective at the time of interview. If it is English, in fact, you people just think your interview with English only. Don't imagine even that your interview is going to be without English or maybe in your mother tongue. No interview will be there that will be held or conducted in mother tongue. So it will be in English. So make English your strength. I think that I have been telling it since my first class, first lecture. And in every class, in every division, everywhere I tell English should be your strength. You people have to work on it. You people have to communicate. You people have to ask something to your friends. Anyway, you can do anything, but English should be your strength. English should be your language of expression. You should be able to express all thoughts and ideas which are coming to your mind. You should be able to express them in English. So it is English language. Don't consider if. It is compulsory. Okay. So it is English language, and there should not be empty influence. So what does this empty stands for? Empty influence means there shouldn't be mother tongue influence. What happens when we try to speak? What happens? Our mother tongue, whatever it may be, it comes in between, and we try to tend to use some words or probably some sentence patterns, or even we try to translate also. So there is a little difference between the sentence structures of English language and our mother tongue. So therefore, you people have to take care that there are no mother tongue influence in your English. So that you people have to take care. Then next it says natural delivery and fluency. Here also I have something to say that it should be natural delivery. Natural delivery means while you're talking, you have to talk it simply and naturally. That sometimes what happens, we take a lot of time. So now I have to think. Then I'm just planning some words and fetching information. I'm collecting words. I'm thinking of tense. I'm thinking of, let's say, sentence structure, words, vocabulary, and it is taking a lot of time, and that has been observed, that has been identified, noticed by the interviewer. In that case, they will understand that you are just trying to speak English, your communication is not fluent. So to bring that fluency, if you speak every day, then you'll not need like that. You have to think first of all. Now I have to say what? First of all, there will come thought. Okay. So something like this happens in case of English. If you're trying to speak English, first of all, what happens? That there comes thought. If thought comes, then you people have to think then next of words. You are thinking about words. Then if you could get words, then you have to think about the sentence. And when you're thinking about the sentence, again, you have to think about grammar as well. So you have to think that much about when you're trying to speak English, you spend your time in thinking of such things. Whether you are going to, let's say, thought is there, but now I have to choose proper words. Now I have to put them into sentence. Whether this sentence is correct or incorrect, then you have to think about its tense. You have to think about whether assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, something like this. And if you're thinking about these things, then there is a lot of time or delay will be there from your side in communication. Meanwhile, that next person might have gone ahead with his thoughts, and he may be thinking that you are not with him. Okay, so you just try to bring that fluency, try to express naturally, be normal, and express your thoughts without any fear or any just hesitation. Then next point is here that says pronounce sentence clearly. I think that I should not speak much about this because already we have done with in unit number 1.1 pronunciation. I have taught you, I have told you that how you can improve your pronunciation, that you should try to understand how each and every word is pronounced. If you know, that's okay, you have to follow it exactly. And if you don't know how to pronounce, then you people have to check that word into dictionary, or you can just check the audio of that pronunciation, and you try to learn how to pronounce a particular word. If you don't know, just think that it might have pronounced something like that and you pronounce in that way. Perhaps that might have you heard from your teachers, but it may not be correct. So pronounce sentences correctly so that it will not be a confusion, or there should not be ambiguity about the words and sentences that you are speaking to them. That you just take care. Then next is speak a little more loudly or lower your voice to draw attention of the experts if there is an important point or opinion. So this is very nice technique that all you people have to take note of this. What does it say? It says that something that is important. You have some important point, or you want to express some important opinion. If you are expressing the same opinion in a similar tone or in a plain tone, it will not have any impact. Okay, as you have important point or opinion, you wanted to attract the attention, you wanted to draw the attention of the experts or interviewers, or maybe you can use this technique in group discussion also, that all group members should pay attention towards you. In that case, you people can do this. What do you have to do? Simply speak little more loudly. When you wanted to grab their attention, catch their attention towards you, speak louder, or you can do opposite also. You can lower your voice. So when you lower your voice or you increase your voice, so that time people will just pay attention towards you, and then you have to express your opinion. So this is the important point that you people can do with the help of your tone of voice. You can increase or you can decrease as per the need. Whether you wanted to make an important point or opinion, you have to draw the attention of other people towards you. Okay. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. All right. Then let's go to the next slide. So we are looking for expected qualities of the candidate. First of all, you should be very good in communication. Okay. That all things people have discussed, that you people have to take care about these things. Or let's try to understand, apart from these things, that interviewers, they may look for other qualities also. So we people will try to understand that which other qualities that interviewers may be looking for. First of all, I already told about, that is communication, that they want good communication in their candidates. Apart from that, they are looking for teamwork. So what is teamwork? How you can do better in work. So in your answers, you should, maybe while talking about hobbies or while talking about your personal experiences, you should talk in such a way that it may show that you can work in team, or you can better cooperate, coordinate in a team. And similar to this, there is leadership also. So how you have leadership skills or qualities? In fact, I believe that everybody has leadership skills or qualities. So when we are with our friends, we try to show leadership skills. But at the time of interview also, you have to focus, or you have to highlight how you can have leadership skills through different. Don't just say I have leadership skills or I have leadership quality. If you're just saying, you need to show that leadership skills through examples. And how you can show it through examples? That at some events, maybe at college level, at your personal level, or maybe at your at society, at your village, you might be doing some activity, you're coming ahead and you're organizing some activity, doing some good work or social work, something like this. So that will show that you have leadership skills. So when you are saying you have leadership skills or qualities, that time it has to be explained with some examples or experiences, so that you people have to understand. Then next, they are looking for if the candidate is flexible. So flexibility is another, or we'll just call it adaptability. What is this flexibility or adaptability? What is the meaning of flexibility? Flexible, are you flexible? So you can just tell that I'm flexible. Flexible means that you can change as per the requirement. Let's say any situation is there, that in that case you need to work differently, or you need to behave differently. Let's say every day you are expected to come at 9 o'clock in the morning, but because of some reasons at some time, if you're asked to come at 12 o'clock and you have to work late in the evening, in that case you people are ready to change this time of adapt to the change of time. So similar things everywhere, you can just do changes within you and you can work with. That will be adaptability or flexibility. The next is problem solving. What is this problem solving? the workplace where you are going to work, it will not be every day that is going smoothly. There might be some problems which are going to arise, different problems. So wherever there is problem, so that time how you are looking at this problem, or whether you are able to find out some solution. How is your attitude to look at this problem? So such kind of things, they are just checking how this candidate is about. Then next is they will just look uh, of your creativity. So I think that you people have studied creativity in last semester. So tell me, what is creativity? What is creativity? Or you don't know? Reply me. What is creativity?
Sir,
Yes.
creativity means designing our ideas, exploring our own ideas in various aspects.
Yes. So it can be your ideas, but it is your ideas, unique ideas, which are you can do it in a different way. Let's say with the help of your imagination, all people are doing work in a same way, but you're not doing like them. You're doing it in a different way. So it can be about design, it can be about anything, it can be about just completing your homework also. So all people are copying in the same way, but your answers are different. So you're creative. So you have to be creative. In fact, you're creative, but you need to show it that how you're creative. That you people have to show to the interviewers that you are creative. Then next is how are your interpersonal skills? Interpersonal skills. So what are such interpersonal skills? Do you know the meaning of interpersonal skills? Interpersonal skills means your ability to talk with other people, how you are dealing with people. Maybe the whether you are just asking something them, you're telling them, you are just trying to find out their problems or something like this. Or your way of dealing with other people, that will be simply interpersonal. Your communication with other people simply. How you're communicating with your other peoples. Let's say your colleagues are there, your just co-workers are there, and how you're just talking with them, or whether you are staying isolated, you're not involving, you're not participating in activities. So that will be your interpersonal skills. Then next, you people can adopt this skill, time management. So time management, let's say if you're working for 8 hours or 10 hours, how you're going to utilize those 8 to 10 hours for the result or for the effective work. And it is not about just work, but in your personal life also, how you're utilizing your time. So this is going to decide how you manage your time, or whether you are just taking a lot of time to complete a short chunk of work. So you people should show that you can manage time better. You can just categorize and prioritize your works, and accordingly you can complete the works given to you. Then next is their work ethics. So what are work ethics? Work ethics means what you should do at workplace and what you shouldn't do. So something like this will be work ethics. Apart from that, next is motivation and enthusiasm. So you should show that you're curious, you are motivated, you are enthusiastic, you are energetic for working for. It has to be seen in your body language. It has to be seen while you're communicating. So that motivation and enthusiasm shows that how much energetic you are. So you have to be always motivated, and you have to be energetic and enthusiastic while at work or something like this. Then next I will talk about conflict resolution. So what is this conflict resolution? Conflict resolution is nothing but at your workplace, if any issue, any problem, any fight, any quarrel, any argument, any conflict is there, how you're going to resolve it, how you're going to solve it, how you're going to find a solution. So that will be conflict resolution. Then next is your decision making. Sometimes it is very necessary that you have to take decision. So it's okay if you're a decision maker. In that case, it is okay that if you're going to take decision, it is okay. But sometimes situation arises like this. You're not decision maker, you're not decision taker, but still you have to take decision and you have to prove it right. And so imagine that you are not decision maker and still you have taken a decision, and if it has to be proven right, and because of that, if there is any loss or let's say some kind of problems, so then how you're going to take its responsibility. So you have to think about this decision making. Then next they are looking for confidence. Again, this is very important that you people have to think that you can do anything, or that confidence should be there. That has to be seen from your body language, through your talk, through your communication. It has to be realized that you're confident. Then next is honesty is there. So this is integral part of your professional life. You have to be honest in your personal as well as professional life. I hope that all we are honest, and we practice it, we experience it, and we also follow honesty and ask others also to be honest. And then there are presentation skills, because in presentation skills we people have done it in unit number 1, so I will not talk much about presentation skills. So these are some of the ideas, or let's say you people can work on these things. If you wanted to get selected into any kind of interviews, you people just think about your communication. Try to find the ways how you can show that you can work in team, your leadership qualities, flexibility, that can be your strength, flexibility, adaptability, your problem solver, your creative, your interpersonal skills are good, mean that you're talking with the other people, and you are just, let's say you are having good relations with people, then you can manage time better, you can complete the work assigned to you in time, within time, let's say. Then you follow some work ethics, that sometimes you have to do some things at workplace and you shouldn't do. Let's say, take an example that there are some printing pages, okay, and you're using these printing pages for your own work. Okay? So such kind of work ethics. So you shouldn't use infrastructure or organizational infrastructure for your personal use. Then motivation and enthusiasm. You have to be always motivated and enthusiastic for the new challenges that are in your profession, or let's say at your workplace, and your personal life as well. And conflict resolution is also one soft skill that you people have to think that if any conflict is there, in that case, what you can do, how you can do it better, that you people have to think. And confidence, honesty, presentation skills that you people can do nice. Note down somewhere those things and start working on them. First of all, communication. Apart from that, remaining skills you people have to work on. So you can take screenshot of it. We'll go back to the presentation. So is presentation visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So these are some of the things that the expected qualities. You should have such qualities within a candidate. Okay, I mean, they expect recruiters or employers, they expect that there should be some qualities in a candidate. And now we people will talk about the candidates who gets rejected. Why do they get rejected? Rejected by the committees. What kind of candidates get rejected? That we people will try to understand. We will avoid these things which we are going to discuss here. So first of all, it says vague and irrelevant answers to the questions. So if suppose that there is one question asked to you in an interview and you are answering this question, okay, you answered this question and this answer was something like that, you're not clear with yourself or your answer, and not that the interviewers or committees or the person who are taking your interview, he did not understand what you're saying. That is vague. Vague means unclear and irrelevant. Suppose that question is about explain your strengths or what are your strengths, and you're talking about that how you enjoyed a college picnic. So what you're doing here, you're talking irrelevant here. So if you're just answering in such a way, and this happened in a case if you did not understand the interview asked you question, but you did not understand the meaning of question, and then still also you're trying to answer this question. So in that case, you may talk vague or you may talk irrelevant. So there is a very important point that your listening matters. You have to listen the question carefully and try to understand. And if you understand the question, I'm sure that you are able to answer it. But the question is there, and if you fail to understand the question, in that case, then there is a big problem arises. How to answer? If I don't answer, then it will be negative impression. Students think like this: if I don't answer this question, it will be negative impression. If I answer this, or if I ask them to repeat the question, it will be not a good sign. And then there is a dilemma, there is a problem for students, and then they decide that they will answer somehow. And anyhow, they try to answer, which is vague answer, which is irrelevant, which is a wrong answer. And if they think that candidate is answering in such a manner that is vague and irrelevant, then they will reject such candidates. So if people listen carefully, try to understand the question, and after understanding, if you really don't know the answer of question, say sorry sir, I don't know the answer of this question. Be honest. Already we discussed about being honest. But don't try to make full them, or don't try to just say anything that comes to your mind. Okay, so you don't do this. Then next is very fidgety. So what is fidgety? So fidgety, it means that your body language, which shows you are nervous, fear, lot of tension, anxiety, worry is there. So fidgety means your behavior, which shows that you are nervous. Your fear, you're having fear, a lot of fear is there. And it shows from your body language. You're not maintaining eye contact. So it has been explained like this: little eye contact. You're not looking at the eater, you're looking down, you're looking at your paper. So you're looking out of the window, or you're looking at the ceiling, or you're looking anywhere, but at the interview you're not looking at all. In such a case, such candidates will be rejected. Then nervous mannerisms. So what is nervous mannerism? I already told you that when you people are not confident, when you think, when there is a lot of thinking like this, my grammar is not good, how I can answer, I have not prepared anything, I don't know any answer of question, my communication is very poor, my technical is very poor. In that case, you are afraid and you are nervous, and there is a lot of fear. In fact, the real condition of candidate is like that: heart rates are increased, your pulse rate increased, and sometimes some students they feel sweating also. And in such case, they understand that candidates is having fear and he is nervous, and maybe sometimes they are shaking, they are just, their hands are also shaking, and such candidates are rejected. Or such candidates, they uh, start playing with their hair, so they will just scratch their head, or just they will play with their hair, or they will look at their nails, or they start biting their nails, something like this. Okay, and maybe just irrelevant behavior there, or you're not totally you're out of this situation. In such case, you people will be getting rejection here. Then next is lack of sincerity. So what is lack of sincerity? You're talking arrogantly. You're not answering properly. Your tone is in high tone is there, and your attitude shows that you don't need the job. Something like this. You're not polite. You're not humble. You're not meek. So such arrogant and egoist candidates nobody wants in their company. So if there is a lack of sincerity, you people will be getting rejection. And then utter superficial remarks to impress the interviewer. Okay, something that boasting. So I have done this and I have done that, and actually you're not able to perform. You're not able to know. Let's say take an example of project work. So there you are not having any kind of knowledge of project, but you're talking a big about your project. We collected this and we did this and we done that and something like this. So they will understand that you are having superficial remarks. Your knowledge is not there, but you're talking a lot. You're boasting. You are just making big things only in words. So because of this, you people may get rejected sometimes. So you avoid these things. Be clear. Be exact. Don't be irrelevant. Then be confident. Here, be confident. Very fidgety means restless. Your meaning is fidgety is restless. So you don't be restless. Maintain eye contact. Don't be nervous. Don't play with your nails, hairs, etc. Be polite. Be humble. Answer each question politely. And here also you should express or you should talk only that you know. You just don't try to boast. Don't try to create impression uh, where you are not having knowledge. So these things you people just take care. I think that last few minutes are there. We people will just stop here today, and remaining part will continue in next class. So let me know if roll number 4 and 5 are there. I'll read out absent numbers. Roll number 4, 5, 9, 13, 14, 29, 37, 45, 47, 50, 53, 59, 60, 61, 62, 68, and 71. So anyone present out of these? If not, then should we stop here? Should I end this meeting from my side?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
assignment submission link.
Okay, so if it is not provided, I will provide it today in teaching diary.
Okay, sir.
So I will end this meeting from my side.